Unboxing and first impressions of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. I am stoked to finally have this show up. And I'm not the only one. Looks like Samsung is facing some potential supply chain issues in meeting the demand of the Z Fold 7. This thing is selling like hotcakes. Let's go ahead and get it unboxed and see what all this goodness is all about. SIM ejection tool, USB-C to USB-C cable, and the device itself. All right, let's go ahead and check out the Z Fold 7 here. Oh wow, look at this bad boy. Let's get this off. Whew, look at this. Holy moly, look how thin this is. That is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything transferred over to this, and then we're gonna do some comparisons to the Z Fold 6 here. All right, I got everything transferred over from the 6 here on the left over to the 7 here on the right. And wow, all I can say is this is one heck of an upgrade, especially from an aesthetics and feel perspective. We're looking at 4.25 millimeters in thickness versus right around 6 millimeters thickness on last year's Z Fold 6. They literally took off 1/3 of the thickness. I mean, look at the difference here. A staggering difference. The next thing I noticed instantly was the weight. I mean, this thing is way lighter than the Z Fold 6, and it's not just like some, perception or just some fake placebo effect. Nothing like that at all. Samsung claims 215 grams. We'll put that on there. 218. We'll put the Z Fold 6 on here. 243, 244. Pretty big difference, and it is noticeable. You will notice it instantly. The other thing I noticed right away too is that the hinge on the Fold 7 is a lot different than any of the previous foldables. So I've had the 3, 4, 5, 6, and now the 7. On the Z Fold 7, watch this. We'll grab this part of the phone here. It kind of wants to snap back into place. Look, it goes back like that. Let's see if it does it. There it goes. Let me do that again. You see how it just kind of snaps into place? I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing. It actually feels and sounds satisfying. And then when it comes in, there's a nice strong magnetic feel. And I also noticed that opening and closing it is pretty easy. You just keep your thumbs away from each other instead of trying to put them next to each other. I have no problems with it whatsoever. But the hinge feels a lot different though. Like if we grab the Fold 6 here, you just put it whatever spot you want and it just kind of stays there. There is no snapping back to like the full screen like this, like on the 7. So I definitely noticed that right away. It feels a lot different when you're opening and closing it. So any of you that have had the previous foldables, you're definitely going to notice a difference. Another thing I noticed about the hinge too is on the Fold 6, and I don't know if this is going to come through on camera, but I can kind of separate the hinges a little bit. It's moving back and forth between the sides, like I can feel it. I don't know if that's showing up on camera. I can do this on the top and the bottom, like both feel like they're separated a little bit. Oh, I think you can see a little bit of movement there. You see how it almost feels like both sides of the phone are kind of separate? They just kind of want to separate a little bit. It's a weird feeling. And if we go over to the Z Fold 7, there is none of that. This whole thing feels like just a solid unit, no rocking whatsoever. So I feel like they've really improved the hinge mechanism this year. It's quite noticeable. Now, as far as the crease goes, we have the 6 here on the left. I'm holding it up. It's pretty substantial. Now here on the 7, it's kind of too early to tell because I've only, folded and unfolded it about 50 times or so. But I will say this, in having all the past foldables since the 3, when you first start to use a fold and you start doing this, opening and closing it, it really does like make the crease come in quite a bit right away. And it doesn't change that much later on in the game, 6 months down the road, a year down the road. It will increase a little bit. But I will say, even after like 50 folds or so, this one, look at that. It's not nearly as deep. All right, this is really hard to get on camera, but hopefully you can tell here that the crease is it's got a way bigger indentation on the Fold 6 than here on the Fold 7. And it is a lot easier to see what the device is turned off. That's why I have it like this. So you can see that the crease is a lot more shallow on the Z Fold 7 than it is on the 6, at least so far here in the early goings. So this year we get the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, and we get the new 200 megapixel shooter on our rear camera array here. So it's some nice upgrades. We also get an 8-inch inner display and a 6.5-inch cover display with a new 21:9 aspect ratio, giving us a nice wider typing experience, which I think most of us are definitely going to appreciate. The other thing we get is a 10 megapixel punch hole camera as opposed to a 4 megapixel under display camera. And the reason for a lack of UDC this year, it isn't so much to improve the quality of the camera, it's because Samsung is in the middle of litigating a lawsuit with BOE, who currently has the rights for the under display camera technology. So hopefully they can get that sorted out and we'll have it back again in the future. We are going to get better picture quality, but of course you do have a little bit of an eyesore here. I think after a while you'll tune it out, but nonetheless, it's there. Now what we don't have this year is S-Pen support. I'm very disappointed about it. I know a lot of you are as well. You know, we have that over here on the Z Fold 6, but the Z Fold 6 Fold Edition S-Pen does not work at all on the Z Fold 7. So you will have to resort to a regular capacitive type stylus, which will work on the main screen, as well as the front cover screen. So that's kind of nice. But of course, no replacement for the S-Pen, 2.6 milliseconds latency over here, Wacom EMR tech, as well as palm rejection. You don't get palm rejection on the Z Fold 7, so you are going to have to be a little bit careful when you're writing stuff out, because as soon as you rest your hand on the screen, it's not going to notice your pen input anymore. But nonetheless, it does work in a pinch. You know, you can sign some documents and take some basic notes. If you are a hardcore pen enthusiast, you know, if you're a creative professional, you're going to have to kind of think about this upgrade. But for everyone else that doesn't count on the S-Pen, holy moly, I mean, the Z Fold 7 is looking nice so far. I'm loving it. Just the overall thinness and how light it is just makes it feel like a completely different device. Now, with the device being so much thinner, we do get a bigger camera bump this year. It's not substantially bigger than the Z Fold 6, but as you can see, it is there. And yes, when you do have it on the table, here, let me show you the Z Fold 6 with no case. You get about this much rockage. And with the Z Fold 7, yeah, there's definitely some rocking around going on. So something to contend with. A case will definitely help with this. Doesn't bother me any, but nonetheless, you are going to have a bigger camera bump. For me, one of the main benefits of the Z Fold 7 that I'm seeing over the Z Fold 6, besides the weight and the thinness, which are obviously apparent the second you get your hands on it, is just the overall usability of the front cover screen. I mean, look at this. I've got YouTube thrown up here. We have all this like word wrapping going on, you know, like it can't get it all on one line. We come over to the Z Fold 7, no problem. That's what kind of difference we're talking. You know, it just makes this seem kind of clunky and a little claustrophobic. Everything's spread out here a little bit more, a little bit better typing experience. You know, we'll cover it a lot more when we do the full review. But yeah, my first impressions, this device is sleek. I mean, it looks, you know, comparable to my S25 Ultra here with the case on. This is even bigger, you know, than the Z Fold 7. And it just feels like I'm holding a regular phone. There it is right next to the S25 Ultra. Very, very comparable in screen real estate, screen size. Let's look at the width here. Not that big a difference. I mean, yeah, there is, but it's not a huge difference. You know, we're more in line with just a regular old slab phone. So a lot more videos to come on the Z Fold 7. A really nice device. I mean, I think anyone that gets their hands on this is absolutely going to fall in love. Let's just do a quick little tour here while I wrap this up. I mean, you guys have seen this plenty of YouTube videos out there. I'm really late to getting it. Yeah, it's just beautiful. There's not much to it, and that's what's so nice. I think anyone that you put this in the hands of is going to be like, wow, how did they pull this off? All right, a lot more content to come on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them down below. Really do appreciate your time. And as always, thanks for watching.